Please turn to Unit 5, Lesson 1, page 203. The essential question for this lesson is, what are some landforms? Now let's go to the Engage Your Brain section. It says, what landform does this river flow through, and how did it form? We will find the answer to this question in this lesson. Once you have found that answer, record it on the lines below. Active reading. Lesson vocabulary. I'm going to give you the 6 terms that you're going to use in this lesson. After the lesson, you can go back and write the terms in the line. The terms are the highlighted terms in your book. The first one is landform, valley, canyon, mountain, plain, and plateau. Now we are on page 204. It's titled Above and Below. Look out the window at the land around you. You might see flat fields, high mountains, a hilly city, or a forest by a lake. We're going to complete the activity below. We are actually going to come back to the active reading. So we're going to go to the main section and just read through these. You can see Earth's surface, but imagine what's under the ground. Earth has several layers. The first layer is the crust. The crust is Earth's outer layer. It is made of solid rock. The second layer is the mantle. The mantle is the layer below Earth's crust. It is made of soft, hot rock. The third layer is the outer core. Earth's outer core is a layer of liquid metals at Earth's center. The fourth layer is the inner core. Earth's inner core is a ball of solid metals at Earth's center. Now we're going to complete the active reading. So we just read this page. I want you to pause the video and circle the definitions of crust, mantle, outer core, and inner core. All right, so you were circling the definitions for crust, mantle, outer core, and inner core. Let's go to the crust. You should have circled this sentence. The crust is Earth's outer layer. The second one is the mantle. You should have circled this. The mantle is the layer below Earth's crust. The third layer is the outer core. You should have circled. Earth's outer core is a layer of liquid metals at Earth's center. And the fourth one is inner core. You should have circled. Earth's inner core is a ball of solid metals at Earth's center. Now we are on page 205. We're going to read the top portion here. Everything you can see, oceans and land, sits on the crust. The crust is not smooth and flat. If you travel across Earth's surface, you might climb over rolling hills or tall mountains. You might pass through canyons. Each of these is a different landform. A landform is a part of Earth's surface that has a certain shape and is formed naturally. Right there, you just heard the vocab word landform. Pause the video and go write the word landform on page 203. Now we're going to look at this first picture. It says, a city may be built on a flat area or on hills or mountains. What landforms are near your home? The second picture says, along the coastline, you might find flat areas, hills, or cliffs. What landforms would you travel to see? Now we're going to play a little game. This is called True or False. I'm going to read each sentence, and you're going to circle true or false, and then we'll go through the answers. Number 1, Earth's surface is made of hot liquid rock. Is it true or false? Let me repeat that one. Earth's center is made of hot liquid rock. Is that true or false? Number 2, there is no crust under the ocean. Is that true or false? 3, every landform is part of Earth's crust. True or false? Number 4, mountains and canyons are both landforms. True or false? If you need more time, pause the video and finish the activity. Going back through the answers. Number 1, Earth's center is made of hot liquid rock. You should have circled false. Number 2, there is no crust under the ocean. You should have circled false. Number 3, every landform is part of Earth's crust. You should have circled true. Number 4, mountains and canyons are both landforms. You should have circled true. Now you should be on page 206. This part is called Down in the Low Places. When you hike down between hills or mountains, you may end up in a valley. If you look up and see high cliffs, you may have actually walked down into a canyon. Active reading. As you read these pages, draw boxes around the names of 2 landforms that are being compared. So as I'm reading this, be thinking of the 2 landforms that are being compared and put a box around those. Here's the reading. A valley is the low land between mountains or hills. The sides of valleys are not usually steep. Most valleys are formed by rivers. Some valleys are formed by moving ice. A canyon is a valley with steep sides. Some rivers make canyons as they flow. Over time, soil and loose rock are carried away by the moving water. What is left are tall cliffs that form canyon walls on both sides of the river. The walls of some canyons are very high. The Grand Canyon is about 1,524 meters, or 5,000 feet, deep from top to bottom. These people are floating on a river. The river flows between steep canyon walls. Now from that reading, if you haven't found the 2 landforms that are being compared, I want you to pause the video and put a box around the 2 landforms. You should have put a box around valley and a box around canyon. Those are also highlighted, which means there are vocab words. Please pause the video and turn back to page 203 and write the word valley and write the word canyon. Make sure you spell them correctly. Now we're on page 207. The top picture is showing you a picture of a canyon. Over many years, a river may carve out rock to make a steep canyon. The layers of Earth's crust that have been cut through are visible in the cliff walls. The second picture is a picture of the valley. Other rivers flow through gentle valleys. The sides of these valleys are not as steep as the sides of canyons. Valleys are not always formed by rivers, though. Sometimes a river appears after the valley has formed. Here's our next activity. You need to label the landforms. So you need to label each landform using what you know and see. So you need to label these either valley or canyon. Pause the video and label those pictures. The first picture you should have labeled valley. The second picture you should have labeled canyon. The third picture should be labeled valley. Now you should be on page 208. This portion is called Climbing High Above. Climbing most hills is easy. If the hill is not too high or steep. Climbing a mountain, however, is another story. The high peaks and jagged edges make it hard to climb. Active reading. As you read, draw one line under a cause, draw 2 lines under an effect. So as I read this, I want you to find one cause and one effect in this reading. Mountains are landforms that are much higher than the surrounding land. When 2 or more pieces of Earth's crust push together, a mountain or mountain range forms. Mountains can also be formed by volcanoes. Some new mountains are growing higher. They are rough and jagged. Older mountains become smaller as they are slowly worn down by wind, water, or ice. As mountains wear down, they also become more rounded. Landforms that are rounded but smaller than mountains are hills. Now pause the video if you have not found the cause or the effect. Another thing you can be doing during this time is you'll notice that there's a vocab word, mountains. Go back to page 203 and write the word mountains in your vocabulary section. Make sure you spell it correctly. All right, the cause that should be underlined, so one line should be this sentence. When two or more pieces of earth, crust, push together, then what's the effect? You should have two lines under, a mountain or mountain range forms. Down below here we see a picture caption, a text feature. It says, snow may fall on a cold mountainside even when it's too warm to snow on the hills or plains below. Now you should be on page 209. On the left-hand side, we have some pictures of some mountain ranges. We are going to read about these mountain ranges and talk about their heights. Then we're going to do an activity on the right-hand side. The first picture is Mount McKinley, Alaska. The second picture is Mount Matrone in Italy. The third picture is the hill in Barboursville, Virginia. Now we're going to go back and do the activity. I want you to look at the scale on the right-hand side. It says, draw a line to the part of the scale that is closest to the height of each landform. So let's look at the first picture of Mount McKinley. Mount McKinley in Alaska is 6,194 meters. If I was going to round or estimate that number, it would round to 6,200 meters. So I would go over to my scale, I would find 6,000, and I would go up 2 more tick marks to 6,200 meters. I'm going to draw a little line, and then I'm going to write Mount McKinley on the side. The second picture is Mount Matrone. It is 1,491 meters. That is roughly 1,500 meters or 1,500 meters. Now I'm going to look back at my scale. I'm going to find where it says 1,500 meters. I'm going to draw a line from that tick mark, and I'm going to write Mount Matrone. The third picture is the hill in Barboursville. It is 366 meters. If I round that, it would roughly be 400 meters. I'm going to find 500 meters at a tick mark and go one tick below 500, which is 400, draw my line, and write Barboursville. Now let's do the math section. We have to estimate the difference. To estimate to find about how much higher Mount Matrone is than the hill in Barboursville, show your work using a number sentence below. So first, we need to find out how tall Mount Matrone is. We know that Mount Matrone is 1,500 meters. I'm going to write that first. Then we need to find out how tall Barboursville is. I know that that is 400 meters. I also know that I'm estimating the difference. When I find the difference, I'm going to subtract. So I'm going to take 1,500 meters minus 400 meters to find my answer. My answer is 1,100 meters.